Today, I'm going to be sharing 10 things I think every designer should consider before starting their freelance business. On my last video, a lot of you commented that you're interested in seeing more freelance content, so I thought this would be a perfect place to start. If you're new to my channel, I'm Maddie. I'm a strategic designer and I make videos about design, productivity, and making a living as a creative. Before my job at Adobe as a creative resident, I have actually been freelancing for 5 years. 3 of those years were during my design school, where I was just doing it on the side, as well as while I was working as a digital designer at a tech company full-time. But then the last 2 years was actually when I was freelancing full-time, and that's what I plan to do after the residency as well. So I've gone through the issue of really wanting to go off on my own, but not really knowing what it would take or when it was time to take the plunge and go full-time freelance and quit my job. But after doing it for 2 years, I learned so much, and these are the 10 questions I would highly recommend asking yourself before you take that next step. The first question is, do you like working with clients? And this might seem really obvious, but if you've never worked with a client one-on-one all the way through a project and, had to be the sole communicator, you really don't know if that's something you like. So I would highly recommend doing a freelance project on the side of whatever you're doing right now before you make the decision to work with clients full-time. This is the number one reason I would say that freelancing is not for everyone, because some people get really stressed out working with clients. You have to be a really good communicator, and you also have to be comfortable speaking with and meeting up with clients, whether that be in person or over Zoom, in order to make a good first impression, but then also in order to meet their needs throughout the whole project. Part of working with clients is also being able to be really responsive. So if you're someone that doesn't love checking your email all the time and sometimes let emails go for days, then you probably wouldn't be great at freelancing, because that is huge. Making sure that your clients feel like you have their back and you're always going to be on top of it and responsive and answer their questions is really important. And so that is a huge part of being a good communicator and working with clients as well. The second thing is, are you willing to stick with it for at least a year or two before seeing any real success? Of course, this completely depends on your background and where you're coming from and if you have a network of clients already, but generally it is going to take you a few years to really start to see growth and stability within your freelance business. I feel like now there are tons of resources online to help you grow your business as a freelancer, help you market yourself and all of that, which is awesome. But I think it still takes a lot of time. So if you're going into it thinking that you're going to make tons of money right off the bat, then you probably are going in with false hope. So just make sure it's something that you're okay sticking with and really putting effort into for a long period of time, because it really is a long game. It's something where you have to constantly be working on it and building your business and getting better at not only your design skills, but your business skills, your marketing skills, your people skills, and that's something that takes time. So make sure it's something you're going to want to stick with for the long haul. The next question is really important, and it's a little bit more specific to each person. So I would highly recommend asking yourself how much you need to be bringing in each month in order to make a living and continue living the lifestyle that you're currently living. This is going to allow you to take a more calculated risk when it comes time to quit your job, because you have to know how much money you're spending in your daily life each month in order to know how much you need to bring in to sort of make it work. It's not smart to quit your job if there's no prospect of you being able to bring in enough money to live off of. So unless you have savings or clients already sort of in your back pocket ready to work with you, it's really important to think about this stuff ahead of time and do the math to make sure that it makes sense for you to quit. Or if you're thinking about starting to freelance and it's something that you want to do on the side of your full-time job or part-time job or whatever it might be, then you want to figure out how much you can make with the time that you have. So obviously, if you currently have a full full-time job, you're not going to be able to also work 40 hours a week on your freelance business. So think about in terms of what you can charge hourly, what types of services and packages you can offer, and what you can charge for that. Figure out how much work you can do within a month, where you're going to get those clients, how much you think you can bring in, and then do the math and see kind of what that will do for you and how you can start to grow that and eventually be able to quit your job if that's your ultimate goal. Next, are you willing to learn all of the business stuff required to make this work? As designers, a lot of us don't naturally have the business skills and tendencies that it takes to run a freelance business. But if you're someone who's interested in like learning that type of thing, then that is awesome, and that means that you would definitely be an awesome freelancer. A lot more of your time will go to this type of thing than you think. So if you dread working on things like proposals, contracts, time management, money management, and things like that, then you're not going to enjoy your job as a freelancer. You'll also need to learn about things like invoicing, taxes, establishing your business, and marketing. And so again, like I said, those types of things are gonna take up some of your time, and at first you probably won't have the money to hire someone to work on that stuff for you. So try to get excited about learning all of the best ways to run your business, and there are tons of resources out there, again, that can help you with that type of thing. So it's not too scary, just as long as you're able to get excited about improving in that area. The next question is, are you self-motivated? And this is really important because as a freelancer, it seems obvious, but you are your own boss. You really don't have anyone telling you exactly when to get things done. Even with client projects, a lot of the times you'll be setting the deadlines, or you'll at least be helping set the deadlines. And so it's important that you are able to motivate yourself and really show up every single day, keep a routine for yourself, keep a schedule for yourself in order to keep your projects organized and stay on track with them. Also, because it's on you to bring in new clients. So a lot of times whenever you're working a 9 to 5, you aren't responsible for getting new work or for, reaching out to people or, trying to do a really good job in order to get referrals. You're sort of just working on the project at hand. But when you're a freelancer, it really is important that you're motivated enough to keep doing better and better work so that you keep getting better and better clients. And I think that self-motivation is huge in being able to do that. People who are self-motivated also like to set goals for themselves, and that is hugely important in your business as well. Setting yearly, monthly, even weekly goals is huge in helping you stay on track and helping your business grow over time. And that's not something that anyone else can sort of lead for you. That's something you have to take on yourself. Next, I would ask yourself, are you organized? As a freelancer, you are essentially a business owner, and as a business owner, you have to wear a lot of hats. You have to be worried about the money you have coming in, the money you have going out, any emails that you have, all of your current client projects. So maybe you're someone who takes on just one big project at a time, but more likely, at least in the beginning, you're going to be taking on a lot of small projects all at once, which are each going to have their own timeline. And so those types of things are really important to keep organized in order to do a good job. Through working on my freelance business, I've gotten really good at keeping detailed spreadsheets, which is something I had never done before, and I've actually gotten to enjoy that process. And so that's just an example of something I never thought I would do as a designer, but it's actually a big part of my job as a freelancer. I keep spreadsheets on Airtable and Notion for things like project timelines, as well as monthly earnings, monthly expenses, and all of that type of thing. So that's really important to start doing from the beginning, and it takes an organized person to be able to keep up with that type of thing. And again, organization, just like a lot of these, is something that you can work on. So if you don't feel like you're really organized, but you really want to work for yourself, that's definitely something that you can improve, especially with things like, YouTube videos and tips online. There are tons of ways to learn to be more organized. And when you're doing this, make sure to consider your business expenses as well as your life expenses, and make sure to consider also the taxes that you'll be having to pay on your freelance work. It's different in every state, and I actually have no idea how it works in other countries outside the US, but that's something that was actually a bigger expense than I thought it was gonna be. So make sure to do some Googling and figure out the percentages of that before you do this calculation. The next question I would ask is, do you know what types of services you're going to offer? And so you could start out really general, like let's say that you want to offer branding services. Then that's awesome, but it also might be smart if you have a specific interest or you have potential clients in a certain area or industry. It might be nice to niche down and start to really hone in on what types of services you're going to offer for what types of clients. This can really help streamline your business and have people think of you as the go-to person for, let's say, for example, branding for yoga instructors. So that's something to think about for sure when you're thinking about starting your freelance business, is what exactly your business is going to do and who it's going to serve. And going along with that, the next question would be, do you have a portfolio of work that appeals to your potential clients? So I've seen and heard of a lot of designers who have tons of experience with design, but they can't show a lot of their projects in their portfolios because of NDAs and things like that. So before you launch your freelance business, make sure you can get together some work samples, things that you can show on your portfolio, whether that be through taking on some free work or even just making up a project that you can showcase on your website that shows you have the skills that you need in order to service the clients that you want to service. Next, it's really important to ask, are you willing to over-deliver for your clients? And I say this because I've learned over the years that doing this is the best way to build your business, because when you over-deliver, both in terms of how hard you work, how responsive you are, as well as the quality of the work you're giving to your clients, that is how you get people to talk about you, refer you to their friends, and that is literally 100% of the way that I built my business was through referrals. So if you're someone who kind of gets sick of a project easily and you just tend to phone it in at the end, then honestly, you might want to think about reframing how you work on a project and thinking about the number one goal as making your clients happy and over delivering for them, because how they walk away from working with you is a direct representation of how your business is going to do over time. And of course, there can be clients that are just really tough to work with and really hard to please and where you just don't mesh well, but I'm saying overall in general, that is the best way to build your business and the best mindset to have. The last thing I want to ask is, are you comfortable with unpredictability? Especially in the beginning of your freelance business, the clients and the income you have coming in are not going to be a steady stream. It's going to be more of a feast or famine situation. And that's completely normal, and it's something that you absolutely can work through. But if you're someone who gets really stressed out by that kind of thing, then freelancing might not be for you. I was really lucky to have some savings to fall back on when I first went full-time freelance, which really helped me feel better about that whole situation. But even if you don't, what you can do is either continue working at your 9-to-5, get a part-time job, or even try to diversify the type of freelance income that you're able to bring in. So for example, instead of just offering branding services, you could also put out some digital products that your customers might like, and maybe partner with some other creatives to make something that can really service your types of clients, so that you can have multiple streams of income and not have to only rely on one thing. All right guys, those are the 10 questions that I'd recommend considering before making the jump and starting your freelance business. I hope that they didn't come across too pessimistic. I just wanted to really kind of keep it real and tell you guys what I have experienced myself and things that I didn't quite expect about owning a freelance design business. But like I said, these are all things that you can learn and improve on over time. I'm definitely going to be making more detailed videos about freelancing in the future, so feel free to leave any freelancing questions in the comments below. And if you like this video, I have a whole growing playlist on building your creative career, so feel free to check that out. And as always, give this video a thumbs up and feel free to subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!